and sensory organs. And these drives are the drive that holds many of these our childhood experiences. Is more or less of an unconscious drives which holds these childhood experiences. So these experiences take us to adulthood personalities and influence the relationships we have at adulthood. Psychodynamic theory is founded by Sigmund Freud, and then it entered the school of thought of so many other theorists, like that of Anna Freud, which is the daughter of Sigmund Freud, and also his wife. Then we also have the work of Erik Erikson and Carl Jung. All these theorists come together to look at the analytic aspect of the psychodynamics. It's a set of psychodynamics analysis theories are those set of psychological theories that arises from different ideas who are motivated by unconsciousness, like we said earlier, that arises from different childhood experiences we have in those days and has taken us to where we are now. And these are the things that is disturbing some of our instincts at the adulthood because of the beliefs we have in ourselves, because of the type of personalities we build around ourselves, because of so many other things that we might not be able to really ask ourselves and answer the questions of how it started. Why is it like that? What makes it to get to that particular level? And they came up with different books, which I will still advise some of us to please get one or two of them and read, especially that one that has to do with the interpretation of dreams. It's a Sigmund Freud first book that he published, and it's really very useful to us. And I will also give us some of these books from different authors as we go in the class. For Freud, some people call him Sigmund Freud, Sigmund Freud. So we should just know what we are talking about. Freud built his psychodynamic theory based on the issue of id, the ego, and the superego. And he emphasizes that this set of tenets are expanded and he looks at the issue of people personality, which he believes comes from the childhood. He also look at the development of these personalities, which comes from the learning of every individual versus the dream of every individual. Like we are talking about rational theory last week. So when the dream does not materialize with what we are anticipating or we have learned, it became something that has to do with either we regulate or we become aggressive. So once the drive becomes aggressive, the social aspect of our interaction, which impacted with the mental understanding of ourselves, of people around us, of the relationships we have around us or within us, becomes something that becomes dependent on an interdependent state, which sometimes make us to form an intimate relationship and become unnecessarily attached to issues, behaviors, people around us. And we might not really be able to dissociate ourselves from such feelings, from such thoughts. And before we know it, unconsciously, we we become unknown to those who have known us. We become unknown to ourselves, and we started to have the personality issues, which Stigma Fraud is trying to explain to us. So, all these personalities and mental health take us to the innate drives which motivate our behavior. So, psychodynamic theory accounts for the side of the nature and the side of what we nurture. So sometimes some people have the thought of having born with influence. They have this ego, feelings, and behavior which has to be traced down to the influence they have in their childhood relationship and the experiences they have in their later life, which has a lot to do with them, and it gives them the strength of what they are. And the weaknesses of ignoring the predetermined possibilities that we have in ourselves and we have in some personal agencies around us, which make it to be a falsifiable issues around us and make things sometimes impossible because people are involved, because nature are involved, and empirically we become unconscious about the reactions to some actions around us, and it becomes something that we might need to look critically into when we talk about these approaches and the proponents of some of this theory. Now, when we talk about the id, the superego, I am sure many of us have this belief and know about it before. If we don't know about it, I can quickly talk about it. So I want to know how many of us know about the id, the ego, and the superego.
I know about it a bit.
Good morning, ma. Sorry I came late. I'm a bit strong this morning. Not really, ma.
Not really?
Yes, ma.
You've not
I know
heard
about
about
it.
it before.
Mm. No, I don't have the deep understanding of what it means, ma.
Any other person?
Can I explain the little I
Any
know
other
about it?
person? Hmm?
Can I explain the way I understand it?
Okay, explain, let us hear.
Okay, ma. I think the ID is all about the urges that we have. Is the mother of the urges. Then when it comes to that, okay, probably we have the urge to eat, or maybe the urge to maybe for sex or some other things. Then when it now comes to the ego, it's now the ego that now prepares either negatively or positively. So, for instance, maybe a man that is having urge for a sex, then going for a child, then that means he's taking the person to another level. But the work of the superego is to now be a kind of to it's not telling us about this the no the social the social norms. That's how this thing that I want to, is it right for me to, if I thought it naturally that I have the urge for sex, must it be towards a child? So the super ego now acts as a kind of what's it called now, mediator between ID and ego. That's the, well, then the one example that I gave us the other time too. So for someone to for a man to plait hair, so this urge, okay, people are looking good, or probably the jeans that they are putting on, some jeans. So me too, I want to put it on. At least with my age, I want to be yuppie. Then putting it up, going out. Some people like at the point of ego, I will go and look for it, buy it. Then when it at a point, then say going out, ego will like a super ego like ṣe mo bó ṣe ń ṣe yín ṣá. So I think that's the understanding I have about it now.
It's okay. You have the advanced side of it. Who else can tell us what they know about it? Mr. Konde, you have the floor.
Good morning, ma. Well, ma, I don't know what, I just joined the group, ma. I mean, the class, so I
That's
don't
why I'm
really
calling
know.
on you. The
Yes, ma.
class starts by 8 o'clock.
Yes, mommy.
Next week, administrator, next week, if anybody didn't come to class by 8:20, you should not allow the person to enter the class.
Mommy, I'm so sorry, ma. I don't have phone, so I just say I'm install
I
it. So that's
purposely call
why.
on you so that everybody will know that you just entered the class. You cannot
Okay.
sneak into the class. Now let's talk about stigma fraud, id, ego, and super ego. After I drop that, I will go to Eric Erickson so that we can understand psychodynamic theory very, very well.
Okay, ma.
Now, when Ford was looking at it as the primal desire, the basic drives that is operating on these pleasure principles of, okay, take for example, I'm not going to use sex because I don't have business with sex in this class. We are talking about how to practice as a very good social worker.
Oh yes, ma.
Mhm. Take for example, I'm a social worker. I want to use car. I want to live in a very good house. I want people around me to respect me and respect my profession. I have so many basic drives that I want to make me very prominent among my other social workers. That is my id. That is my pleasure desire. That's my pleasure principle. Then the ego now comes up. It has as mediator between the id and the reality. So, Mrs. Akiniyi, get it right there. The ego has as mediator between the id and the reality. I want to use car. I want to live in a very glamorous house. I want to do this. I want to do that. How much is my salary? Is that not the first question? Can my salary get a car? Yes, it can. Fine. Can my salary afford living in a very cozy environment like Banana Island? No, it cannot. Can my salary do this, that, and that? Do I have alternative? Yes, I can go and sell my father's property and do what I like. Good for me. No, unfortunately, my mom, my dad, they don't have any property I can sell and reuse. Bad for me. How do I go from here? That is the work of ego. Ego try to balance and mediate between the it and reality. So ego is functioning on the reality principle to satisfy the it desire in a socially acceptable manner. I hope you are getting it right. In a socially acceptable manner. Okay, I have money, I can buy car this month, next month and upper month, I can get a small cozy house I can live. Then 3 months after, I do my savings again. I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. That is ego. It doesn't want you to get out of that reality. It doesn't want you to go against the norms of the society. Am I communicating? Now super ego comes. It represents the internalized norms and moral. It works as a moral conscience. And these ones are the things that influence the behavioral thoughts, the emotions, the forming, the structural model, and the other part of the psychoanalytic in us. Ah, I'm born in the family of coal. In our family, this is the way we do our things. In our family, we do this. In our family, we live in Highland. In our family, we use this type of car. In our family, that is what superego does. And these are the things that influence our decision making, our behavior, our thoughts, and so many other things that is in us. Then before you know it, I don't have enough money to buy a car, but I want to live in Banana Island. So nothing is stopping me from divorcing my husband and get somebody that is living in Banana Island, and we start a new relationship just because I want to be in Banana Island. I hope I'm making sense.
Yes, ma.
So superego are those things that take the moral consciousness or unconsciousness out of us. And people will ask you after being brought to book, did you have conscience at all? That's why they will ask a ritualist, did you have conscience at all? Is your conscience really working? So if the id and ego cannot work well to subdue the superego will take us out of the consciousness and our conscience will lost. The moral conscience will go away for the unconsciousness, which Freud was talking about our personalities, our relationship with other people, our relationship within ourselves. Once we lost the conscience, everything that works around our thoughts, our emotions, and our behavior will be super ego, which supersedes the id and the ego. That is why it is called the super ego. If you don't understand, let me know. If you don't understand, let me know so that we know
Well
what to do.
explained.
Hmm?
Well explained.
Now, let's
Yes.
take this id, the super ego, and the ego to, okay, let me come back to that. We'll take it to motivational theory along the line and what makes it a motivation. That's what we will get. So many a times, I always tell people that the super ego is the only thing that will make you to desire big and get it big without thinking deeply about the consequences of whatever you are going to face on this issue. Now let's look at Eric Erikson. Let's look at Eric Erikson theory. This Eric Erickson theory, I'm bringing it to you today so that we can discuss further on what psychodynamic is really talking about, because many of us, unfortunately, we are unable to really slice all of this very well while we are talking about psychodynamics during our basic study at the undergraduate level, even at the master's level. Many of us don't really look at it. You see, Eric Erickson was looking at 5 basic things in his theory. He looked at the basic virtues in child development to adulthood to termination. He looks at those things. He looks at the sources that revolve around each stages of development, which give it psychological strength or virtue. It gives it hope, will, or fidelity. He looks at the conflicts in each stages of this development, which brings about sometimes trust and mistrust, and the role confusion, which is some of the problems that we even have in families, role confusion. It also look at continuous development of infancy through into adulthood. How did it happen? What type of psyche is put in every individual? And also look at the unresolved issues that have happened within those stages of development that really, really affected many of us in the later stages of our life. So it splits the issue of development into good 8 stages of life, and then he now describes it based on the basic conflict and the virtues that is attached to each of these stages, so that we can really, really understand where psycho issues starts from as a social worker, and how we can really deal with those issues. That's why when a client comes to your desk, you try as much as possible to look at the personal data of such people so that you can bring out some absorptions about the lifestyle of such people, about the lifestyle of the people such people grew up with, about the lifestyle of those who are in care of the care of such people. So the first stage, you look at stage 0 to 1 year old or 0 to 12 months old, where we have a baby, and that stage, such baby need nourishment just to suck the mother's nipple and get milk out of it. They need affection, they need attraction, they need love. They want you to always smile at them because that's the only language. The body language is what they can read at that stage. So if they cannot get those affections, if they are left alone, crying inside the cot, screaming on top of their voices, because they have come out to attach themselves to you, they have come out to be part of you as a family. So they deserve to be loved. They deserve to be cared for. When they poo poo in their pants and nobody is there to care for them, and they left the people there for hours, then they get used to that. So when they get out of that stage, you cannot correct them to take poo out of their body, because they are used to those poo staying and being part of them while they are at that infant stage. So what everything is trying to express to us is that at that stage, we need to give these children trust. We don't need to beat them. We need to show them love. We need to pamper them. We need to correct them with love at that stage. Because, mind you, at that stage, they are baby, infants, cuddle in the arm. Before you know it, they start sitting. Before you know it, they start crawling and get inquisitive about things around them. Before you know it, they start walking like us. And this is the stage where they trust the decisions we made for them. And that is why you will see some differences in African children and the Western world children. We shout, they don't shout. They leave children to get their experiences from practical, though not the one that will take their life. But we don't even allow our children to get those experiences, because sometimes we over pampered, or sometimes we over scream, and before they know it, is either they are cut off from actions or they are apparative with actions. So those two are there. So it's either they trust us or they don't trust us. So what is their hope? What is their hope? Those are the virtues there. Once they trust, they hope on trust. Once they don't trust, they hope on not trusting us for their judgmental behavior. Now, early childhood, that's the second stage. At early childhood, from age 1 to 3, I think many of us supposed to have known all of these ones. Is that not it? We're supposed to have been very, very used to all of this we are mentioning. So at age 1 to 3, which is early childhood, they are there to develop their sense of independence in many tasks that is around them. You know, at that age 1, when they start working, you say, give me that paper, bring that biro. They want to learn some basic things around us. And they will do some things. They will put up some behaviors, some actions that, mind you, we are expected to correct them with a sense of them knowing exactly why they are wrong or why they are right. But unfortunately, many of us go the other way and we correct them based on our emotion, based on our judgment. And before you know it, they became shameful of themselves because they are not given the chance to take their autonomy decisions. So they doubt their actions. They think, if I do this, my mommy will beat me. If I do that, my daddy would kill me. And different things like that makes them not to have autonomy of their actions. And from there, they start to lie. They start to tell us what we want to hear about their actions, instead of them coming out to say, oh, I did it. After doing it, I realized that I have goofed. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please don't be offended. How do I amend this? So we don't give the room for that. Rather, we scold them, we make them get ashamed of whatever we are doing, and then before we know it, and it becomes something else. So they need to have this independence approach. They need to have this autonomy approach at that stage. So some of us at that stage, we have already introduced them to schooling. We have already introduced them to schooling, which makes them sometimes, by the time they get to school and they met a wrong teacher who cannot really control his or her temper, they became a doubtful fellow. They don't really understand why they are babies again. And before you know it, they pass aggression on others because that is the language they are taught. The language of conflict is what they are taught. And that's why you will see a 2 plus 3 years old baby already fighting like an adult for toys, hitting themselves, because that's the language you taught them. That's the language they are known with. So we need to know how to correct some of these abnormalities so that they can develop this sense of independence and face the multiple tasks that at that age they are willing to face. You will see some of our children, they are very busybody. They will carry all dirty plates. They want to climb chair and help us to do some washing. They want to clean the house by taking off some dirty clothes to put inside the washing machine for us, even though they are not as tall as the operation. They want to, put their own quota of action to know if they are going to achieve something or not at that stage. We should encourage them. We should not shout at them. We should not sit them down. We should not make them to be unnecessarily not useful in the house. Because the next stage is the stage where some of them are expecting the younger ones, or we are giving them unexpected younger ones. And then we will just drop them like a sack of old clothes that are not useful again. And we give all attention to those younger ones when they arrive. So they are caught in between the web of, are they really loving me? Am I in love? Do these people really need me or not? And before you know it, some of them pass emotional aggression to the young ones. I experienced such a thing while I was having children. My daughter had a junior one at the age of 3 plus. All love, all affection, all attention was on her while she was growing and she was enjoying everything. Then she started to realize that something is coming and this is a foul play. She asked me one day, "What is inside this your belly?" I said, "They said it's a baby." They said it's a baby, or you put a baby inside your belly. I said, "Yes, there's a baby inside the belly." She said, "How did the baby get into that belly?" You know, she's very curious for me to explain how the baby gets into the belly. I said, "Okay, that's a topic for another day. It's not now." She said, "When the baby come, how how do we feel the baby?" I said, "Let the baby come first." She said, "Okay, no problem." Then the baby came on a very beautiful day like that. Unfortunately for me, the father was not around. He went out. By the time the father come back, he said, Oh, daddy, grandmama, great grandmama, they have gone to store baby in the hospital and they brought it home. This could give you a very big headache at the end of the day. And we all burst into laughter. Say, why are you people laughing? Is it a laughing matter? You brought an alien to the house to come and take over my space? No way. No way. And I started to monitor her. But unfortunately for me, one day, if not for God, the baby was crying and she was saying, oh, sorry, it's okay, don't cry, you are disturbing me. I'm learning something, don't cry. And the baby continues. She just took a pillow and put it on the head of the baby and sat on it. If not for my consciousness that, oh, I can't hear the sound of this girl again. That was how I rushed
Ah,
into the sitting room and I met
Wonderful.
her performing miracle for me.
Hi.
seriously.
I said, why? Why did you do this? He said, Mommy, she's crying and disturbing me and giving me headache. She doesn't even know her space in this house. They brought her from the hospital. I don't know. I don't know if you buy, if you don't buy. I don't know. I don't know. She's making noise and she's disturbing me. We have to calm her down, cancel her, make her to see the baby as the person she can also appreciate and love. But some parents, when they caught her in that web, they will beat the hell out of her. And that will create the enmity between the two of them for life if care is not taken. So at that stage, when they have those independent tasks and many tasks around them, we should allow them to carry out some of the ones they are capable of carrying out so that we don't really lose the love they have at the first sight. Then stage 3 is the play age, according to Erickson. That play age, I think, is from age 3 to 6 years old, which has this initiative growth in them. They take initiative of some of their activities. And once they are not successful, once nobody is praising them to start a new task, they feel guilt, they feel that they don't have purpose for their actions. They feel that people will laugh at them. Then they feel they have overstepped their boundaries. And if you watch them at this stage, they want to say a lot of things they have been hearing from adults. A lot of things that you don't even take into cognition that they have tapped it and they have put it on their head. They start talking like a very grown-up adult. Then we ask ourselves, who is teaching this child all of this? We are discussing in their presence and they are grabbing those things. Remember, that is the stage where they can learn as much language as you can speak and they understand. And they want to imitate all the things adults are doing at this stage. If you are the type that exposes your children in the negative area, then you will reap the fruit of your labor then. If you are the type that doesn't go and kiss your wife in one corner, when you come, hey, he or she will go to school and kiss others. If you are the type that do rough play in their presence, they will also do it to their age mates. They are not saying it as something bad. So what you don't want them to learn at this stage, don't display it in their presence, because this is the stage where they imitate exactly what adults are doing. And once you don't do the correction in a very polite way, you could get it wrong for a very long time because they feel guilt. This is the stage where they have known what shame is. So they easily look at shame and want to go out of it because their conscience is there to tell them these are the things that my families are valuing. These are the things the society are valuing. These are the things we do, people will laugh. These are the things we do, people will put their hands on the head and cry for us. These are the things like that. So they are that manipulative age now. If you are not very careful, you'll be manipulated. And if you are not very careful, they give you different behaviors that will suit you at a particular time. Then the issue of school age will set in. And I always advise parents at this stage, if you are not very careful, you might produce a child that will be giving you headache. And once they start giving you headache at that stage, you might lose hope in them, they might lose hope in you too. At the school age, that is age 7 to 11, they have this competence. They felt they have it. They have the competence and they felt that they can develop themselves with confidence, with the ability that they have their senses. So they felt that they are very industrious. That's when they want to show you all the things they can do with their power, with their strength, with their knowledge, without supervision. They believe they have the competence. So if you have a boy child that doesn't want to read, that is the stage. You are the one that will do timing and programming for such child, not to go and dump the child in a boarding school and say, when you get to boarding school, they will not teach you before you will read. You will read. You will read. The child will not read because he did not read from the house. When you get to boarding school, they will not teach you what to write. You will write. Who is the teacher that is going to teach your child how to write at that stage? When you have not taught your child how to write. In some developed country, in some Western world, if your child is not up to 7 years, you cannot bring them to school. They won't accept the child from you because at that stage, they have expected you to teach the child how to identify alphabets, figures, reading, and so many other things. Then you bring the child. The child is already developing that sensory organs that will let the child to compete with others and make the child industrious. But if the child has failed to fall into that category, your duty as a parent that will advise or your social worker that will advise the parents is to give the children a time frame of activities per day. So by the time they have the time frame of activities, they will be able to know that from this time to this time, this is what we'll do. From this time to this time, this is what we'll do. And if you look at the school curriculum, if you look at the curriculum, it is at that stage that they give them timetable. The other stages, the teacher is the one that will look at their atmosphere, their mood, and everything, and introduce the subject they are to do for the day. So at that stage 7 to 11, that's the stage they are expected to be at the basic studies arena. That's when they give them timetable and they want to work strictly on their timetable. There's time for short break, there's time for long break, there is time for activities, there is time for them to go home. All of this will make them to be able to plan their life. So, yes, some people they would think that when they get to the boarding school, there will be time for them. And with that timing that is being structured in boarding school, they will be able to do a lot of activities. We are deceiving ourselves. They cannot do it because once they cannot get that framing of timing and use of time to become industrious while they are growing with those who love them, with those who will not instruct them, they cannot do it when they get to the places where they will be instructed. If they are not instructed with love, that is what will build the delinquencies in them. And that is where our own problem we are facing will start because they will be tagged as delinquent children. And once they are tagged as delinquent children, there will be issue of not trusting anybody, guilt, the shame, and so many other things that we will learn in labeling theory or we have learned in labeling theory. Those things will make them to stick to that other aspect of the behavior and they became uncontrollable. And that's where we have beyond parental control and some beyond society controls because we have not done our aspect of parenting the way it ought to be. So at this stage, they are expected that you set a time frame for them for their activities and inactivities so that they get used to that and they use their timing to have something tangible on their table. So after this stage, we enter the stage of adolescence. At this stage of adolescence, they are there to look at those they will have fidelity for and those they will have infidelity for. Because they have developed identities, they have developed their roles at this stage. So it's either they identify with you or they get confused about you. So at this stage, this is the stage where the organs that will make them female or male will come out. And mind you, they have learned to behave and imitate some adult behaviors while they are growing. So they see nipples coming out and the guy too will get attracted. Oh, this is the way my dad draws my mom's nipples. This is the way my dad batch my mom's at the bum bum when they are inside the room, and so many things like that. So they get identified with seriousness, with their ways of doing their things right, and they face their studies with the tasks we have given to them. Sometimes when I have opportunity of meeting mothers or parents, I always ask them, set a Maslow hierarchy of need for your child. Tell them your role, tell them their role. That is when they can look at those pyramids and go into achieving the peak of the pyramid. So, at the area of the basic need, which is the physiological need, You have provided shelter. You have provided books. You have given them schools that they need to go. You've bought uniform. You've bought shoe. What is their role? Their role is to read very well, pass their examinations, and once they pass, you go to the security room. Now, once you pass every semester or every end of the year, you pass very well, you are able to get promotion. This is my task as a parent. Then at that stage, you are going to give me more achievements. We are going for competition. We are going for this. Tax them and tax yourself. But unfortunately, many of us as parents, we don't even know the books they use at school. We cannot even look at those books. We don't even check their notes. And we feel that they are already adolescents. They should know what they are doing. And many of us, this is the stage that they need to learn how to really behave like an adult. They need to learn some things that will make them not to misbehave. They need to know that they don't need to go with gangs that is terrorizing them in school. They need to report any gangsterism in their school. They need to report those who are bullying them. Both teachers and students can be bullies. All of these things are the things that we need to teach them at that stage. We need to teach them how not to be manipulated by those who can manipulate them. These are all the things we need to put in place and teach them right. But unfortunately, we are so anxious in African development. We want to become the Western world overnight. So at age 13, 14, some of them are already in the university, and we want to celebrate them coming out of university before they are 20 or they are 19 years old. And we carry our Ashebi to go and celebrate graduation. Graduation of somebody that does not know right from left or what. Those are the issues that we as social workers, we need to develop in those areas, let people know how to parent properly so that these psychological and societal problems will reduce drastically. We have not been doing our work. We need to work very well. We need to work and work very well, not just doing the work from the lips. We need to do it, we need to write it down, we need to let people know how to handle children so that they don't give the family trauma, they don't give the family psychological issues. Because once it comes in, to take it out of the family is a problem. When you take a child that is under 18 into the university and somebody bullies and say, hey, where's your 18? And say, if you don't give me, I punch you now. And they give such a child a punch. And they will leave you to wake up after waking up and say, so where is the ATM? Give them the ATM, say, okay, let's go to the machine, withdraw 50,000 for me. And so many things like that. They're happening in the university. Before you know it, because some group are bullying, you will try to go and join some groups that will counter bully. And before you know it, your child is already a cultist. Before you know it, the child is already taking drug. And so many issues around that. So we should learn to know the ages that befit activities, actions, reactions, and so many other things that we should put on our table and let the children know exactly what we are talking about. Because at that adolescent age, if they cannot get it right, they cannot identify with what is right, they get confused and be more confused, and they go on getting confused till they will not be able to be themselves again. Now, from that stage, we move to early adulthood. At the early adulthood, where we have the ages of people from 19 to 29 years, they are going to establish intimacy. They want to start family. They want to start their own family. They are going to have interaction with their co-workers, with their co-tenants, their neighbor, their colleagues in the office, and so many other things. With people on the road, they will have interaction with drivers that are on the road too, and so many other things. They will have interaction with the society, the economical issue with the society, the social issue with the society, the cultural issues with the society, and so many other things. And their financial issues too. So at this stage, we are seeing them as adults. They need intimacy. They need love. They need relationship with others. If they cannot get it the way it ought to be, they will be isolated. They will want to isolate themselves. And before we know it, they will be stigmatized. They will be labeled. Say, that guy is a psycho patient. He doesn't relate with others. He's a confused human being. Because the confusion has started right from the adolescent age, which we don't really recognize in them. So they get isolated, and so many other things get coming in. Instead of them to continue development, they could be stagnant at that stage. They may decide not to marry because their father is always beating their mother. They will decide not to marry because their mother is always going out to meet other men in the house. They may decide not to marry just because they don't see their family being happy, being united together. And the question they will continue to ask themselves is, what is marriage all about? When my mother is not happy being married, when my father is not enjoying marriage, why am I rushing into marriage? And that's the thing we are experiencing in society today. Many of them, they don't want to marry early. They want to get old. They want people to start saying, are you not going to marry? Is your marriage? Is not my marriage. Yeah, when I'm ready, I will do it. And so many things like that. So they need that intimacy. They need the love. And that's why we encourage parents, even when your children are married, do visiting, but don't correct, don't make trouble, so that when you say you are coming, they will not have this BP of my mommy is coming to make trouble with my wife again, or my daddy is going to tell my husband this is not how to do it. So at this stage, we encourage them, we show them love, we give them little contribution we can, we mention, but not impose. We mention some ways they can do to help them stand firmly as family. But we don't impose their ways on them. We only mention to them, okay, what about if you look at it from this angle? What about if you people do this? Okay, I can help you people with this. What about this? Like that. So they need love around you. If not, they get isolated. That's why you see some couples, when they get married, they travel far away so that you don't come and put your mouth in their marriage issue. So by the time they get out of that, they go into the middle age, and that is age 30 to 64. So at this age, they are seen as people that should be able to contribute to the society, to be part of the family. But unfortunately, if they don't get it right at that early adulthood, they might see family as nonsense. They will never contribute to anything that has to do with family. Rather, they will be calculating and looking at the date their father or mother will die so that they can inherit their property and sell it off. And that's the challenge we are seeing these days, that children acquire their parents' properties and sell it off. And unfortunately, they don't really think about their heritage. And some will sell it off and live outside the country because of the orientation they have while they were growing. So many a times we see so many abandoned houses. We have seen many of them at Ikoyi. If you go and look at the children of the owner of those skyscrapers, some of them are nothing to write home about. And the little ones that could do something meaningful to the family are even fighting over who owns what. And all of these things are the things that could stagnate them for a very long time because the care is not there again. They have no one to care for. And unfortunately, at that stage, their own children are also getting to the intimacy age. So, because life is a circle, so their own children are also going out of them. So they are there, they are getting old, they are retired, they don't have friends, they don't have family, and the society is not frowning at them because their financial capability might not be able to contribute to the development of the society at that stage. So they remain so stagnant, and they have this guilt of looking at their past. They have the guilt of looking at their past, looking at what activities have taken them to prison, and so many other things like that. And if care is not taken, if care is not taken, they they could decide to end their life in isolation, in serious isolation, because many a times at that stage, at the later part of that stage, they get bereaved, they lose their partners. So they want to stay in isolation, and it kills some of them because they could slum, they could have fever and nobody's caring for them. They die like that. And some are very, very silly to the extent that they even want to die like that, and it's their own way of committing suicide. They will be there staying alone and praying for death to come one day. At least one person will bury them. But unfortunately, some of them they will be smelling before they know that they have gone. So God will not let that be our portion. Then at old age now, for those who can cross that stage, at old age, they have the integrity because they could assess and make sense of life, meaningful contributions from what they have done in the past. But unfortunately, if they are the type that have the conflict aspect of development, like I told you, nobody goes to them for wisdom, because for people like them, they want to make sure that all of you are having conflicts with yourself, you are in violence, you are never settled. So many people, when they discover such people, they don't go closer to them, and they don't want to be part of them, and they rather go their own way and look at whatever they can do to be successful in their own life. I think Eric Erickson is making meaning to us.
Yes, ma. I have a question, ma.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma, for the lecture. I'm just seeing myself as I don't even know anything about this thing. The lecture has been resonating, ma. So, looking at this Eric Harrison developmental stages and looking at stage 4, that is this early childhood, where does peer pressure effect comes in? Because I have seen children that doesn't really manifest what their family styles are. Like they just, come in and started manifesting and behaving in a way that it doesn't, appear to be from their home. Does peer pressure have any effect on these stages? That's my number one question. Number two is looking at this even hit ego and super ego. Does peer pressure also affect their how do I put it now? Their decision, walking through or struggling through this kind of heat between heat and ego and this super ego. Does peer pressure affect the decision that they made out of these processes? Ma.
Yes. Let's start from the developmental stages. If you look at your children, just flash your mind back to when they are growing. At that stage you mentioned, stage 7 to 11, they will always come back home and tell you, mommy, if you see my friend's bag, that one with the rolling tire, can you get one for me? My friend brought yam egg, what do they call it? You got this to school. My friend celebrated his birthday today and they cut cake and they gave us different gifts. Mom, during my own birthday day, you are going to give me gifts too that I will give to my friends in the school. Am I communicating?
Ma, yes, ma, yes, ma.
Do you have issues like that?
Yes, yes, ma.
Yes, that's exactly where prayer pressure starts from. Now, let's take it back to Id, the ego and the super ego now. Their desire is to have a very good birthday celebration with your help and promises. But unfortunately, you saw it as something that doesn't warrant it or as a waste of money. You are a struggling mother. You just want the best for them. I say, my friend, that is not possible. Please don't discuss that with me again. Say, okay, no problem. We'll try with the dad. And dad say, okay, I'll give your mom money. The dad, daddy will not tell you, my friend, go and say that I don't have such money. You want to be the best dad in the whole world. That's every dad for you. So telling the child that one, the child will feel that you took money or you collected money to do such from my dad, and you did not deem me fit to give it to me. At that age, you will see some of them discussing how they sneak into their father's room to take the father's money, how they sell their mother's goods in the shop and take the mother's money, and so many other things like that. Now they will give them the confidence. You can do it. If you keep her bad, take little, don't take much. And he or she will try it and it works. And unfortunately, you are the type that doesn't count money because you felt that your children cannot steal your money. They can't do it. You have trusted them. You don't count your money. So when they do it day one, they will give it a day, maybe another one before the end of the week, and it works. Then they increase the days they will be doing it. You know that peer pressure have come in. Then there comes a day where you will confront them. Please, I am losing money in this house. Who is taking my money? You know the siblings, he will settle the siblings by buying things to shock their mouth. And they will keep quiet. But if you are the mother that is very, very close to your children, you will know the one you will grab. And that one will say, hey, don't beat me. Oh." It was Lolade that took your money yesterday. He took it to his girl and buy this thing and gave me meat pie. I eat it. Oh. Don't beat me, oh, mommy, please. I'm begging you. I'm not the one that took your money. You know, you will have one of them like that. So once it is getting to that stage, you are the one that will sit them down and tell them issues that is surrounding their delinquencies so that they don't lost into the world. I hope I'm communicating.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
many of us
Yes, ma'am.
has failed our role as good parents.
Hmm. Hmm.
We have failed woefully because
Wow.
we took the care of these children at those intimate stages to the caregivers, which are not even trained as a caregiver in the first place. We put it in the hand of housemates, housemates that are hypocrites. They love your children in your presence and teach them worse things in your absence. Because housemates have been moved from one house to another. He or she has learned some stupid behavior here, good behavior here, naughty behavior here. Mind you, those who brought them will also be telling them, you can steal money, you can steal goods, you can
Hmm.
steal gold, you can do
Hmm.
this. And when I come to visit, just roll it under my chair. I will pick it. I will help you take it away. When you steal, give to security. I will settle security. I will take from security. Things like that are happening. So your behavior, the family behavior, might not be that of what the child is exhibiting. But unfortunately, many of us don't take cognizance of when our children are being drawn away by influence of people around them.
Hmm.
I hope I have answered your
Definitely.
question.
Yes,
Hmm.
mommy. Thank you so much, ma.
Ma,
Yes, ma.
I have a question. Yes, ma. Sorry, ma,
You are
the
free now.
initial, yes, ma, at the beginning of the class, so the point of introduction, you mentioned about 3 or 4 theories now, about the
We have
stigma fraud
treated
theory.
stigma
And
fraud.
no,
Yes.
yes, I just want to get the name of the other one, the last one. You mentioned Anna Fred, then Eric Harrison, then maybe Can Johnson. I didn't get the name, so I want to get it so that I can. The third
It's
one, the
junk.
last one, rather.
Jack junk. Jack
Ma,
junk.
Jack
Jack
Dunk.
junk.
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Then another question is this. Then under this super ego, Ma, you mentioned about moral
Bruno.
consciousness. That I'm
Hmm?
now asking, now relating it to
Ofe,
this
Ofeto, the last
Ma,
one.
super ego, Ma. You mentioned about moral consciousness. Now I want to relate it to rational uh, choice theory. So I think there's relationship between that, because I think our moral consciousness at times will help our choices at times. Is it? I want to ask that question. So I don't know. I want you to share more light on that, Ma.
And when we were talking, I also tell you that sometimes the issue of consciousness will take
Yes,
us
Ma.
back to rational theory.
Okay. Okay.
You know, when we were talking about rational theory, we talk about this
Water.
issue of um, consciousness, conscience,
Mhm.
and
The interest.
irrational, and the interest. And many a times, the id now is our
Yes, Ma.
interest. Are you there?
Mhm. Yes, Ma.
Hmm? The
Yes, Ma.
ego is the one. The ego is the one that will tell you, this your interest. Is it appropriate?
Mm.
Are you doing the right thing? Is it acceptable norms and value? That's time when your ego wants to think for you. All these three
Mm.
things are in our brain. No.
Yes, Ma.
Mhm. When the ego wants to think for you, it will talk about the morale
Mm.
around that thing you want to do, the
Do.
rationale,
Mm-hmm.
the rationales around those things. Then super ego will take you to the irrational aspect of it. Yes,
Mm.
you don't have the money, but you want to be like them. That will make you to join the societies you don't supposed to join.
Mm.
Even when you have joined the society before the issue, you will not see reason why you have to leave them.
Mm.
My mom is a royal blood from the Ijebus. There is nothing you can tell my mom until she was close to 90 now. She cannot really dance again, not to go to Ojude.
Abi. Mm.
She will
Mm.
buy clothes that doesn't even worth it for 90 something thousand. She will buy shoe, she will buy gele, buy this, buy. At the end of the day, they spend close to 1 million. That is their dressing. Oh. They always have money they give to Awujale, each of these clubs. You know, at their own thinking faculty, they want to belong because they are already in those groups that will showcase themselves every year. We are there. They are the next egbe to the late Awujale now. They want to showcase themselves. They want to tell people their achievements, their this, their that, by parading themselves. That is to them at that stage, whether you like it or not, you will become irrational if you tell them not to go.
Mm.
If you
Mm.
ask the average of these people that parade themselves in in front of the Awujale that is from Ijebode, they will tell you that you are a wicked person if you tell them not to go.
Wow.
they will hate you, they will not talk to you. Because the ego is unable to justify why they should not go. The super ego is the one working now. Mi ò ní lọ, mi ì ní lọ sí ojúde ọba, mi ì ní bá àwọn ẹgbẹ́ mi lọ jó.
Yeah.
Àwọn ẹgbẹ́ mi á wá máa rí mi wípé mi ò tó nǹkan ṣe mọ́. Àwọn ẹgbẹ́ mi á wá yọ mí sẹ́yìn. That is the super ego, the rational part of it.
Okay. Thank
And
you, Martha.
for you
That's the
to
word.
for you
That's
to
the word.
that's the
Wow.
rational part of it. But to them it is rational.
Rational, yeah.
For you that is seeing it at the other side of it is irrational.
Rational, yes.
So I always tell people, when you look at theory, all of them are into each other.
Order.
Do you understand it now?
Then, Madi, yes,
All
ma.
of,
Yes, ma.
all of them are
The
into
last
each
question,
other.
ma. Yes. Yeah. I've
Somebody is
gotten
in
it.
the class. Is it Smith that is in LASU class that is disturbing our own class here? Smith, are you the one in the class that you are disturbing our class?
No,
I
around.
think it's Mommy Akintunde Folakemi.
Okay,
Can you
okay.
yes, mute your can you please mute your wow, thank you, ma.
Yes, ma. The last question, ma.
Okay.
Yes, ma. I think the practical aspect of it now. I have a colleague. I discovered
Okay.
now that virtually everyone that comes in new, she has issues with them. No, at times it might be confrontational. It might be, I think I've counted 1, 2, or 3. The last one that came in got to a point that even within the office, she ended up not even talking to the other person. No, they were at a point, this thing. When I was now talking to the head of the person, I now said, I told her that this person that you are looking at, it seems she's having personality issues.
Yes, that's personality theory.
So I
Yes,
just
that's
want
personality
more.
theory. You go and read more about personality theory. That's personality theory, and we are coming to that. We have not
That was what
gotten
I
there.
told them.
Yes. After psychodynamics, we look at personality because it's that issue. But if we don't do this psychodynamic, we cannot grow into personality.
Yes, ma'am. From what we have even been taught so far, I think even in this stage of everything, there might be 1 or 2 stages that she has been, maybe that affected her present status now. From what
Yes,
we have been taught
not
so far.
just 1 or 2. Many things have affected her
Yes.
status. So number 1 is,
Exactly.
are these people qualified? Are they coming to unseat me? If they see the goodness in these people, would they ask me to go away? Have I failed again? Have I not done it well? What is really going on? I will make the office uncomfortable for them. I will make them crazy. I will show them I'm the superior person.
Good. I think that is part of it. Part of it, yeah. Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mom.
So can we go ahead? Can we use these 10 minutes to look at the other? Now, for unafraid, look at the use of Erik Erikson to treat or to rehabilitate people in the psychiatric hospital. Are we there?
Yes, ma.
Yes, ma'am.
So we need to go and read more about Anna Freud and her theory on psychodynamics. She's very good too. Why Jack was looking at the issue of how to really do withdrawal techniques in drug. He's looking at how to use withdrawal techniques in drug and some other ways of treating the models of talk therapy to free some patients uncover their hidden emotions and conflicts they have been having. So that's the work of that person, because I want you to really understand. So when we talk about psychodynamics model, those are the two that usually come out most of the time, that the models they use in psychodynamic. But bear it in mind, the Eric Erikson is the one that help people to really understand what Sigmund Freud was talking about, because he couldn't understand him. He couldn't understand him. He was like, kí ni bàbá yìí kàn tiẹ̀ ń sọ ṣá, àṣàgbé yìí dìjọ, àgbé ego, àgbé super ego. But if you look at other theories in the field of sociology, psychology, and social work, you see that Freud has helped a lot of people to understand why they are there. Carl Jung. So you go and look at the work of Carl Jung and Anna Freud. We also have some people in that book of thought. The Dempejant is also a founder of the psychoanalytic, but unfortunately, Sigmund Freud was the only person that we always reckon with when it comes to psychodynamics. Like I told you, Carl Jung is a psychiatrist, is a psychotherapist and a psychologist. So he is one of those who make the illustration on how to use therapy and counseling to bring out some things in patients and get rid of all the issues in the patient and know what to do. But Anna Freud, we have Anna Freud mother, we have Anna Freud as daughter, but the work of daughter is the one that's really, really come out in the book of thoughts that every one of us are using today. She's a daughter to Sigmund Freud. She was the youngest among the 6 children of Sigmund Freud. And then she followed the path of her father to help her father to really contribute to the field of psychoanalysis while she was a medical doctor and a psychoanalyst at the hospital. So she helped to use the work of his father, combine it with Eric Erikson to get to the problem of some people who are having psychological disorder in the hospital, who are undergoing rehabilitation and some other things. Then if he also used the work of Maslow to help them to get out of the nonsense and also make them a proud patient at the end of their treatment. So do we have any other question? Why, when we talk about the psychoanalytic theory, the work of Friedrich Nietzsche is also very, very important. He is a classical philosopher who is one of the youngest professor they have then in their days. He became a professor at the age of 34. So he's a classical professor and a classical philosopher. So for them, they think beyond what we are thinking by looking at Oedipus complex, dream analysis, and the different structural model. So they look at this. Oedipus complex is one of those things that we need to study very well as a social worker. It really helps us. That's why you see me, even when you abuse me from morning till night, I will not answer you because I have a lot of things to do. So if somebody does not have interest in your area of interest, they will not have conflict with you. So you should know that as a social worker today. If they don't have interest in your area of interest, they will not have conflict with you. But because you are triumphing more than what they are expecting themselves to be, so they will always have conflict with you. So mind you, in the field of social work, not everybody is your friend and not everybody is your enemy. So you use everybody when you can use them and dump them along the line and do some other things you can do for yourself. So we need to read the Oedipus complex. I will ask every one of us about what we can learn from reading it in the next class so that we will all be prepared for the challenges of being a doctor in the field of social work. Then Jane William Pigent is another person that is also a psychologist, and his work is on child development. His work is on child development, but we use his work mostly in the field of education. So his work is mostly on cognitive development and epistemology. So in the field of education, we use his work very well on the issue of cognitive development. So he's a great thinker, but not a classical thinker. He's a great thinker, and he really did a lot of work in cognitive development. How children will understand and calculate and logically manipulate their senses to fit into every environment they found themselves. So he worked very well in the area of education, and he also expressed how children can be very good scientifically, mathematically, and so many other ways. So for those of us who have read education before, we could have met the work of the Patient Williams along the line. So those are the people that really work in the area of psychoanalysis. So their models are there. You should go and learn that, because if you want to do that in this class, we will not finish the class till our examination will come. So go and learn. So next class, I will give us 30 minutes of self-interaction with all the things I ask you to read: the Oedipus complex, the cognitive aspect of the psychoanalysis, and so many things. So when your child did not know mathematics, You don't beat them, rather you look for a way to let them understand what mathematics is talking about, not to not to sideline them and stigmatize them. So all these are the things I want you to study before coming to class the next section. The one Mrs. Akiniyi help us to analyze about fraud earlier is called fraud's psychosexual stages of development, where we talk about the oral, the anal, the phallic, the latent, and the genital. So we are not for that in this class. We use it to help get those who are not sexually active in the family setting to prepare their mind for sex and some goodies they could derive from being actively involved in it. That's what we use that model for. So, Mrs. Akene, you take note of that. That's what we use the model for. So, the 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 thing is something that if we discuss it now, some people get irritated. But I always discuss sometimes in sections where I have family issues with sexual activities. The ego develops when you have the instinct of having sex, then you start by having fun play like sucking, sucking not just the breast, the other part of it. You use your mouth to do a lot of these activities. Then you also use your anus to withhold some things. We usually use it to teach women how to enjoy sex and also teach them how the men could enjoy the sex from them. Because by the time he pushes it in and you have a grip of the walls of your anal with the penis, the man head sparks up and he enters the super ego aspect of it and he starts to misbehave and both of you get what you want out of the sex. That's what we use that one for. It's a model on its own. So you should get note of
Okay,
that.
ma.
Whenever they talk
Yes,
about the
yes, ma.
id, the ego, and the super ego, don't bring it in. It's a
Okay, ma.
psychosexual stages
Eh,
of development. Yes, it's a psychosexual
Okay,
stages
ma.
of
Yes, ma.
development. So
Then
it's
yes, ma. I just gave a general this thing, just like to
uh,
get the area
like
of
that's what I'm yes, that's what
okay,
I'm
ma.
telling you. It's a psychosexual
Okay, ma.
stages of development
The aspect
model.
of it. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, ma.
it's a
But
model.
the
It's a
sorry, ma. I
model.
just want to okay, ma. I just
Mm,
want to just explain it a bit further because when we are talking about this issue of a moral conscience, maybe it's
mm.
because I deal with children that are being defied. Because looking at an adult now, having a sexual towards a child, I wouldn't know. Maybe
And
that was why I
before an
ended in
adult
that
will
side.
start it, before
Eh,
an adult will start it, before they
so
start it, they
that was
start
why
by sucking, by fingering, and some touches.
yes, yes, yes,
That's why
yes,
we
ma'am.
classify them as, as people that
Under
are
that.
psychologically not okay. That's why they
Okay.
always ask them to go for psychiatric test.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Thank you, ma'am.
They are psychologically not okay. Because for them to do it with a child, not
With the
their
child.
age mate, not their sex partner,
Mm-hmm.
they are psychologically not okay.
The balance. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and that is
Okay.
still the model they will use to treat them in the hospital. That's the model they
Oh,
will use to treat them in the hospital when they go for psychological review. That's the model they will still use for them. So at the stage
okay.
where they get the phallic, they disconnect them
Mm.
and deprive them. So by the time they are being deprived at that stage, they will it will reduce the electron that usually connects to
Yeah, yeah.
get it to the peak of it.
Okay, ma. Thank you so much, ma, for the explanation.
Yeah, you're welcome. Please, any other question? I feel like eating now. We are now in our own noon.
All right, ma. All right, ma. Thank you
Any
for the question.
question?
Oh, no, I don't think there's any.
Uncle Smith is not even part of us today.
Oh, well,
Owó lọ, ó wà ńlá sùn ni, ó fẹ́ para ẹ̀ ni. Ó fẹ́
okay.
ó fẹ́ mú nǹkan méjì papọ̀.
Ah, oh, well. I hope she's young, so she can always do that.
It's okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
So can we call it a day now?
Yes, mommy. Thank you
Yes,
so much, ma.
ma'am.
Enjoy
For the
yourself.
lecture. Enjoy your
Yeah.
weekend, ma'am.
And you
Yes,
too.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Mr.
Bye.
David is not in our class.
Mm.
He just joined us and he was there.
Okay. Okay.
Mr. David,
Mr.
are you
David,
there? I told you he's not in our class. Come on, Emil, why ló ṣe?
seriously.
Abi?
We call
Hmm.
on Shan. So many things sometimes, but we
Mm,
set priority.
that's it.
Hmm.
It's okay. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, ma'am.
You too,
So have
mommy.
a
Yeah,
wonderful
Thank you,
ma.
ma'am.
yeah.
Bye, ma.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye. Bye, ma. Adam.
Why don't we, why not we said to you, who are afraid because of the fire? We did not go into the mountain instead. That was the only aspect of the representation of God. So it was looking for the God accepted. It's not an actual before. What happened here today? The senior vice president brought their issue. But someone else came to this place to give it orally. And that really not no. So what we have is a share. We have to give that person the two versions close to certification. We have only one better law. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Ageti. I would like Pastor Felix to.
Thank you. When you look at the order of creation, I think man was created on Friday. Then the Sabbath followed. When you look at Genesis chapter 2, the last verse, the Bible says the man and his wife were both naked and they were not ashamed. In the seminary days, there was a book that we used, Other Marriage and Family, by taught by Mrs. Smith, for those who are there. The title of the book was That Friday in Eden. So if they were created on Friday, and the Bible is making this statement there, and in line with that book, then I also look at it as a reflection of what really happened. I don't say anything sinful in it. If you have a relationship with your wife on Sabbath, that's the way I look at it. It is legally, it is approved and supported by the word of God. If these people here, they are naked and they are not ashamed, I mean, they are not just smiling at each other.
Okay, please, Ella, you've spoken. I would like to shake more hands. I'll see you after the sister there. I would like to recognize sister over there. So let's allow the women to talk now.
Going along with Pastor I want to say that in the same book of Corinthians, where was the Bible says that if you want to go into a season of prayers, there is a type of prayer you want to do, and you and your husband will give yourself space for the period of the prayer. And after the prayer, you must quickly go back together. So, yes, sexual relationship is important, you must have all that. But there is a type of prayer that you want to do. There are some issues that will come, even ordinarily, there were no issues. You don't want to pray. There are some things that happen to you. Sometimes you are so busy in the office when you get home, you don't have time for her. Is that not so? Is it a strange thought? So, it depends on where we are coming from and what we want to do. That one is one. That one is one. Then the second thing, one I want to give is on Monday. Monday talks about the type of thundering and everything that happened at Sinai when God came down to meet with the children of Israel. And today I look across in the church. Imagine that, yes, typically God comes here every Sabbath, every Wednesday, every Friday. If Those God should appear with the rate at which He appeared in Sinai that day. Some of the things we do inside church during service, are we going to survive at all? Ordinarily, if you don't even come close to the mountain, don't do whatever, wash your clothes, do this, do that. All those things are spiritual. So keep yourself clean, you yourself, when you are coming before Him. What is our perspective when we are coming before God every Sabbath, every Wednesday, every week of prayer, every Friday program? Whenever there is a session with God, what's our perspective? Do we go prepared? Or do we just come as if we are going to a village meeting? We are just going to meet a friend. Hello, how are you? Then we just go, we greet, we talk, we gist, like the normal whatever, and then we walk away. What's our perspective? We come, we are pressing our phones, we are doing all type of things, choosing wrong, anything. If God stepped down the way He stepped down on Sinai, are we really going to survive? So may the Lord grant us grace in the name of Jesus.
Amen. Okay, please. Sorry, a volunteer word was referring to if there will be a special program. The Bible says there must be mutual agreement between the husband and wife. There's no sense in you say you are fasting and you see every lady that passes in front of you, your head is wiring. Or every man that passes in front of your head is wiring. The Bible says there must be a mutual agreement between the two if they will stay apart. God bless you. Okay, thank you so much. I would like to recognize our sister here. Sorry, sir. Please, sir, I'll recognize you soon. Okay, let our sister here speak. She's putting on an orange.
Friends of God, good morning. We have different way we understand God, and we have different background. He mentioned on Sabbath day, or I can call it a different day or a special occasion. Our God is holy. He demands respect. He demands love. It's nice for husband and wife to agree themselves, especially on the holy day, that what belongs to God belongs to God. So our prayers can easily and smooth connect with God. May God help us in Jesus' name.
Amen. So we will have three more persons speak. Actually, we will have Pastor Kingsley and Raj speak. We have Dr. Okata speak, and our elder there, and that will draw the curtain for the session. I don't have much to say. But just to buttress on points that have been raised here, as they disturb my mind, because we are called the people of the book. And I appreciate you, my dear moderator, for the way you are setting the pace. Let's look at the text that Madam was trying to give us here. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. You take time to read from verse 4 to 5. You will get where Apostle Paul strongly admonishes our bodies, the body of the husband belongs to the wife, and that of the wife belongs to the husband. And when it's time for the two to go to the presence of God, he advised that we should abstain from sex, X-E-X. If we're looking at the Sabbath of the Lord, and we still recognize the reverence and the holy and the sacredness of that day, what's supposed to be done on the Sabbath? Announcements, songs, or prayers, and fast? Tell me, if there's any day we should agree to reverence the holiness of God, it should be on the Sabbath. That's my position anyway. Any other scholar can have his position. So, Apostle Paul says, often
When you are into a serious spiritual business, which worship is one of such business. So if you shall concur with what the last two persons said, with due respect to my senior colleague, I will say that the Bible has told us for 6 little days, God gave us each of these days to sex your wife for 24 hours. Don't do any other thing, be on her. So that when you get to the 7th day, you rest. You rest, my brother. You rest, my sister. So when you walk into the presence of God, you come in accepted. And that gets me to the question that was asked about washing our garments. It has two phases. And the two last speakers that spoke on that really got it right. And I want to build more on what Professor Fande said. God instructed the Jews, his people, to wash their garments, and that is synonymous to confession of their sins and spiritual cleanliness. Otherwise, my poor old fathers in the village that don't have wonderful and expensive garments wouldn't go to worship God on the Sabbath. Many of them will come to church smelling and stinking. With their old rags, I've been to places I went on outreach on the Sabbath. You see some people who came from the farm, they have their clothes in the week and they are smelling. God will not send them away because their clothes which they don't have to buy a very clean one. The emphasis here is on who you are inwardly. And that place, that's my position. Anyone can stand and just on that one. So when the Bible talks about you washing your garments for 3 days, you pray and trust. Forgive those who offended you. Those who have offended, forgive them. Your mind is open and clean to God. Because if I come to you from your filthiness, I will kill you. That was emphasis. Let's not forget that today we do what we do because Jesus is on the throne. We finish sex on Sabbath morning, you come to church, you commit all kinds of